Got a question the other day that really kind of made me think, and I didn't think that it would. And the question was just, what advice would you give to yourself, knowing what you know now, back when you were 22? Now, when I was 22, I was a little bit wild. I drank way too much. I partied a lot. I worked a couple jobs. I was wrapping up my college experience and didn't know what I was doing next. And yeah, some advice around that time probably would have gone a long way. And it started with just kind of simple things like, you know what, compound interest is really a thing. If you were saving money right now, it would compound and grow much larger than if you wait until you're 30 to start saving, like I did. Uh, yeah, that would be great information to learn. Maybe I would give myself some advice around the people that I hung out with. You know, they say that you're the average of the five people that you hang out with. Maybe you're the average of the top five podcasts you listen to, whatever that piece is. It's not about the specifics. It really is about the idea that who you surround yourself with does frame your thoughts and your experience and your outlook on the world. And around that time, I had amazing friends. We were very close, and I wouldn't trade that for the world, but I also can't tell myself that it was helpful. Uh, it was a lot of friends that didn't necessarily align with where I knew I wanted to go, and I wanted to hang on to those friends as long as I possibly could. And that slowed me down quite a bit in the early days. But really, what it came down to, and the piece that I landed on, if I had to give myself one piece of advice, it would be to focus on the needs of others more than my own. And I grew up in a scenario where I had to look out for myself. I looked out for other people too, but I had to look out for myself. I was worried about my own success a lot because I felt like I had a lot riding on me doing well. Whether that was to support other people or support myself. I mean, one of my biggest goals in going to school and the plan that I set in front of me was never to be broke again. Because I'd had some really bad experiences that came from not having the money to really just get what I needed on a day to day basis. So I did. I focused a lot on myself. It was my education, my learning, even in relationships at many times, I would put my needs before the needs of others. I fell into that very common trap of every relationship has to have something very tangible for me in it. No, but as I've grown, I've learned a whole lot about meeting the needs of others and how that actually benefits you in a much larger way than it does to just work for yourself. So if I could go back and I could talk to my 22-year-old self about, what advice would I give that person, it would be pay attention to what other people need. And if you focus on helping other people and meeting other people's needs and being valuable to other people, you have to take care of yourself a bit in that scenario, but you're not thinking about yourself fully. What that does is it gives everyone else a chance to open a door for you. And it means that you don't have to open those doors yourself. And so many other opportunities come the way of people that are more interested in helping others than helping themselves. And so I would 100% say that that's the advice that any 22-year-old should very much consider. Find out what other people around you need and try to be the person that can meet those needs. They'll try to meet your needs in return. They will honestly find value in having you around. You become a better friend, a better partner, a better employee, a better, customer service, everything really does stem from this idea of just helping other people more before you help yourself. So yeah, I would go back and I'd tell myself that, and I would really hope I'd listen. But the really funny thing about that is as I'm thinking about these things, I'm writing them down and I'm discussing them. I had a thought that entered my mind, and I remembered me when I was 22. I wouldn't have listened, not at all. I would not have heard a word of that. I would have nodded along and gone about my business, walked out of that room, and thought about how I could apply that information to benefit me. Because that's what you do when you're 22. It's really hard to look at the world in how you can help it and not just see the world as how it can help you. Because when you're 22, your needs are pretty real, especially if you grew up like I did. I mean, at 22, I was worried about paying rent that month and putting food on the table. I really wasn't thinking more than a couple of weeks ahead. It wasn't a big picture life scenario. I wasn't doing things to benefit my future self, and that catches up with you faster than you'd like to believe when you're young. So no, I wouldn't have listened. I wouldn't have listened at all, which is funny and it's sad. But there are some lessons in life that people can tell you. You can believe them wholeheartedly, but those lessons you just have to learn for yourself. It's part of going out there and doing it. It's the difference between collecting knowledge and acquiring wisdom, because knowledge is just information. We have tons of knowledge at our fingertips every single day. You want to know something, go look it up. And if Google can't help you, AI probably can. You've got a question, you can find an answer. But wisdom is taking that knowledge, pairing it with experience, and being able to have some idea of the outcomes before they happen. Wisdom allows you to predict outcomes a little bit better. It helps you break down scenarios after the fact and go, oh yeah, that's what happened. I see all of this now with clear eyes and an experience, more than just plugging in a question or asking AI to debrief an email argument. So I don't know. I don't think anybody would take that information, walk away and really apply it. But I think it's important to hear it. And as you're going through life, as you're collecting your own wisdom and knowledge and applying these things, it might pop up every now and then. You might give it a shot and actually see how it plays out in real life. Yeah, it just really does wonders for almost every aspect to think of others before you think of yourself. It's counterintuitive as it is to your feeling successful. So yeah, that was just the thought. Really appreciate that question and just being able to think about it and mull it over a bit. But yeah, give us a like, subscribe, follow, comment. What advice would you give to your 22-year-old self? Or if you are 22, what advice are you looking for? What questions do you have that, the internet's just not answering it? Because that's what I'm hoping to do here. I found myself in those exact shoes 5 years, 10 years ago, where I had questions and the internet just wasn't answering them. I needed somebody just to tell me what their experience was, help me through that just a little bit, give me the food for thought so I could actually go out and be a little bit better and meet the challenges that I was encountering. So please engage. I want this to be a community. I want other voices in this as quickly as we can get them. But we hope to have a lot more content coming out soon. So be sure to like, subscribe, follow, check us out on Instagram. We're going to be putting up a whole lot of content there, but we hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.